Let's take a look at the Titleist range of golf balls and talk about what golf ball might suit your game. So let's start with Pro V1, and obviously you've got Pro V1X and the AVX as well. So AVX is a golf ball that's going to be similar to Pro V1 in the sense that it delivers the highest spin around the greens, but you're going to have a lower spinning ball off the tee. So it's going to deliver you a little bit of a lower spinning option. So if you're someone who is really working on trying to keep your spin down in your golf balls, you might find that the AVX might just help you in that quest for some better golf shots with a better launch through a more consistent spin. AVX as well might also give you a slightly lower ball flight also. Now the really popular, ever popular we should say, Pro V1, and there's a Pro V1X, I think there's a left dash now as well. So we've got a soft feeling ball with the Pro V1. It's a mid-flight, they're saying. Iron spin, Pro V1X will be slightly higher than the Pro V1, very slightly. But again, this ball from kind of 9-iron in, you're going to get your highest spinning, most control with Pro V. And at the same time, you're going to get those strong, powerful drives subject to how you deliver the ball. One thing to remember with all these balls, basically with the driver, you're going to find they go pretty much the same. It's a bit of a misconception. You're going to find you're basically, as you're coming down, you're going to sacrifice a little bit in those short irons, so medium irons to short irons in spin going into greens. So Pro V1, Pro V1X and AVX, you're going to keep you right at the top end of those for control. That's why they're the premium balls. And then as you come down, you're just going to sacrifice that a little bit. But that sacrifice is there at a cost because these balls do cost more. So as we move down the line, what are we getting? So in the tour speed from Titleist, you're getting a soft feeling, good for distance golf ball at that more reasonable price. Very similar to Tour Soft, where you're going to get that much softer feeling off the face as well. So that's something people desire sometimes, say around the green. Don't think of that as more spin, because remember these are actually spinning less than these top ones that might feel firmer. But it's a feeling people desire, which something like Tour Soft will deliver. But at the same time, you are going to get proper distance out of these balls as well. You're not going to find a sacrifice in distance from the top end down to these. You might find AVX just peaks your distance out a little bit more because it is the lowest spinning ball if you're someone who struggles with high spin. But at the same time, you are going to need a certain amount of speed to get the most out of that one possibly. And something like the tour speed, you're still going to get plenty of good control around the greens, because where you lose in spin, you'll gain in launch. Because what happens with a shot is if you add spin to a ball, so if you hit these high spinning balls, that tends to drag the launch down a little bit, where if you take the spin off, which you get from these ones, you will get higher launching, so you get different land angles, which can be the compromise. So if you're a player who likes to play with a good level of spin, you like to see a ball check up, then you would stay more in these premium tour balls, where if you're someone who's not really thinking of that, this is where you will save a bit of money and maybe move down to some of these cheaper versions. And I think Tour Soft plays really into that with the feel idea of it being softer. Performance is going to be good and all round good distance off the tee, a decent amount of spin moving into greens and around the greens. Again, not as high as these, but high enough for most golfers who maybe are not looking at that as part of their game, who don't feel they've got the consistency to see the benefits of that. So it's a good middle ball that's kind of doing a bit of both, while at the same time at a slightly more reasonable price. Moves us on to the True Feel, which Titleist say is their softest feeling golf ball. With a larger core, it's great for distance off the tee. Remember, it's not going to be improved distance over pretty much any of these. They say that on the box. I always think that's quite interesting. In longest distance off, longer distance off the tee. Distance, faster core for more distance in the long game as well. Well, they're not. You're going to get similar numbers. You are going to sacrifice again that little bit of feel going, or spin going into approach shots and around the greens, but again you're going to gain that back maybe a little bit in launch if it's something you're not really thinking about when you hit your chip shots or your pitch shots. You wanted them to really check up, because if you were, you would definitely still be up at this end. It is a soft feeling, nice feeling for lots of golfers. They do like that soft feel, as I say, and a really good price. And down here at the Titleist Velocity, this is for players seeking every yard. This is for people seeking every ounce of yard, is what Titleist is saying. So it's a high launching golf ball. It's got low spin in the long game, they're saying as well. With the new LSX core, it's got all the technology that you would expect in a Titleist golf ball. For me, I think your stock favourites are going to be True Feel. People like the feel of that ball. If you are concerned about controlling stop and distance from that kind of 8-iron, 9-iron inwards and chips, you're going to stay up at Pro V1 and X, and then AVX, subject if you want that slightly lower spin. And the good middle ones, your Tour Speed and your Tour Soft, they're priced almost accordingly, to be fair. As you'd expect with Titleist, they make a very extensive range of golf ball really for everybody. At the end of the day, I don't think you need to be too head up on what golf ball you use, subject to what your demands are. Because the people who have those demands, they just know to stay up at this end. And if price is your biggest demand, they know to head more down towards this end, and they're still going to get plenty of fun out of their golf game. Which golf ball do you use, and why do you notice a difference in performance when you switch between? Do you even switch between different balls for different seasons? So when the ground gets bouncier, do you move up to something like the higher spinning in the approach shots, Pro Vs, and then in the winter where everything stops, are you moving down to things like velocities and true feels because you just like the feel of them? Let me know. As always, a good range of golf balls, something there for everybody.